Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. This week we're going to be going into Cyberpunk from Innovation Comics, a 1989 comic book. But before we do that, let's check out some of my own artwork that if you guys would hopefully check out, that would really help the channel and help my artwork and help the universe and help humanity's psyche all at the same time. It's a 12-page, full-size, full-color comic that I do for my patrons at Patreon, excuse me, / Alexander Turbin. Like I said, it's a 12-page, full-size, full-color comic that I produce every month for $3, and you get the comic, and you also get a sticker, or you can just do some of the other donation type things on Patreon for a lesser amount. You can also check my stuff out on alexanderturbin.com. That's my website where I have all of my different comics with like Random Access, Mutandus, The Forlorn, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, this week we're going into Cyberpunk #1 from Innovation. Innovation, like I've said in a lot of my other videos, is like a higher end, fully painted comic book company. I don't know if they ever really made any money because this must have cost a pretty penny for all of their comics to make. But they had, like I said, they had the Vampire Lestat and the Thing. No, the Thing was Dark Horse. But they had a lot of other movie properties and excuse me. So hopefully they made their money back, even though I don't think they're in production anymore. This is Cyberpunk #1 from 1989, and it's fully painted. It's the creative people are. Let's check out the last page. Is actually I don't know who it is. It's story and book design by Scott Rockwell, art by Daryl Banks, and lettering by Don Martinek. I don't know if, story and book design. So Scott Rockwell is the writer, I assume. But he also had some special thanks to scripting for Kevin Van Hook. Yep. So the artist, let's go back and check again. Daryl Banks, and Scott Rockwell is the writer. I don't know either of these guys from anything else. I did not look them up. Usually I look the creators up before I do one of these videos, but I did not. If I find anything worth noting, I will put that in the comment section. I don't think I've ever done anything in the comment section other than replying to whatever you guys say. But anyway, let's get into this. So Cyberpunk 1989, there really isn't too much to go by for Cyberpunk. Maybe Aeon Flux, is that Cyberpunk? Shadowrun, Blade Runner. I'll have to think of some other cyberpunk stuff, but this is really hardcore. It's more like Tron than it is anything else. I think Tron is cyberpunk, but it's not. I don't know if it is. It starts out with this guy and or these people, and they're in like a bar, and they have this cone thing, and he's licking. So I don't know if that's some sort of drug or it's like alcohol or whatever. But he starts giving them crap about not being cone heads or whatever. So they kick his ass and they throw him outside of the bar, and you can kind of see the cityscape and the bright neon lights. So it's a little bit futuristic, Tron, I think. So he keeps calling people meat, and really that's like it's a split society. It's kind of like Ready Player One, only in cyberspace. And so he keeps calling people meat, and that's really your body. Your body is your meat. And then they have a little bit of world building where he's he's at his apartment, I guess, and he's putting in his code to get into his apartment, but he's talking about how he was passing a raping, a ritual killing, a theft, all of these different things. So it's a, it's not all roses in this futuristic cyberpunk society, which is it ever, which, you don't want it to be, because things being perfect is just not any fun in a story until it goes bad. So he goes to his apartment. He talks about how it was broken into and by some kids, and they took some stuff, and but he left out some stuff that they could take, so they wouldn't go into his really good stuff. So then he plugs into cyberspace, which is really, I think, the cyberspace in this type of cyberpunk is a little bit different than other cyberpunk stuff, where it's more I don't know, it's techie, but this is really, it super delves into the other world. The playing field is what they call it, where he logs in and he can be whoever he wants and whatever he wants. It's kind of like the astral plane, if for the X-Men or for Doctor Strange, where they just go into this universe where they can kind of make their own reality. And so he meets people, and they have a games. His name is Topo, by the way, and he meets this girl called Neon Rose, and basically the game is fighting or whatever, and trying to keep composure and keep your body together, and they have a good time. And then, but it kind of flashes to another story, like they're all done doing their stuff, and I don't know if this is the same character, but she, this new character, whoever it is, she's in trouble with the mob boss, or they don't really say why. They just really kind of just say that she's trying to rebel against him. She says he doesn't own her, but he says he does. So I don't know whether she owes him money or what. But it's some really cool sequences. But we'll talk about the art later. Then she storms off, and I guess he's gonna go get her. And then it goes from Topo to Topo, where he's going from the cyberpunk world or cyber world into the real world, and it's the same girl. So this must have been reality, and she goes to Topo's house or whatever to try to get his help or whatever, and they must be friends or girlfriend boyfriend. They kind of have a little bit of a repertoire between them, where they're like it's sexual innuendo, where she's like talking about how skinny he is, and would he be happier if he would just wither away into nothingness. And he says things to the effect of yeah, he would be happier if he could just live in the cyber world, the cyber realm. So then they do something which really a lot of comics, I'm surprised more comics do not have lovemaking scenes, because almost every movie has some sort of lovemaking scene. And I think I might try to put one in one of my comics fairly soon, because really you don't find the love interests having sex a lot of times in comics. Even the indie, well, I mean, the hardcore ones you kind of do, but if it's not hardcore or porn or just soft porn or, just hardcore indie stuff, then you don't really have sex or lovemaking. It's like you can have all of the violence in the world in a comic because that's what people enjoy drawing or something. It's very unusual, and I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit further and see what other comics have real not sex, because any comic can just have sex, and a lot of movies just have regular sex, and it's like a nothing thing. But this is part of a relationship. This is a real love-making relationship thing. And then of course they're busted in by the guy that the boss that she was talking to before, and they rough them up and they steal her. So he gets it into his head that he's going to go visit a friend, and she's going to give him the kind of stuff that he needs to kind of break into the cyber lair of the bad guy or whatever. And this is a pretty cool thing. it doesn't really explain it too much, but I think this is like an elevator where you just kind of lift yourself up. It's like an air elevator. I kind of wish they had explained that a little bit more. Um, but he goes to this um, mechanic, engineer person, and he says that she'll help him because she thinks he's cute, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have any of the tropes, which I love. Usually, you go to the tech person that you need help from, and they're hesitant to help because you have some sort of background with them, some sort of backstory or whatever, and they are hesitant to help. But then they say, "Do this for me, and I'll do this for you," and blah blah blah. None of that happens. They're just friends, and he says that she does owe him, but because he's cute, she'll help him. But that's really that's it. She just helps him, and she knows it's for the betterment of the cause or whatever, and she gives him the best stuff that he needs. And it's a breath of fresh air that somebody would break away from that trope and just have something cool and new. And so he goes into cyberspace, and he's looking around, and he's going through all of the different files of the big bad guy, I guess, the mobster or whatever. And he gets caught by some sort of virus or security or something. And this is a fantastic page here. We'll go through this a little bit more. But he's just kind of caught and captured by whatever it is, and that's just kind of how the story ends. He's kidnapped. Apparently, there's 2 issues of this. There's a second one, so this is the first of 2, and so the writing was surprisingly good. I don't know why I didn't get the second one of this, because this is definitely something that I got back in 1989 on my own, and I read it. They must have, like I said before several times, a lot of these books would not, the second one wouldn't be in the comic store, or if it was something good, then it would be gone so quick, and then if they didn't have a reprint, then you wouldn't see it, and then it goes into the comic book collection, and you don't think about it for the next 30 years. But so I would have gotten the second one of this, and I don't think I did. The writing is really very good. It takes a lot of cliches from, like, him calling everybody meat in their human form, and it takes you a little while to realize that that's what he's saying. He actually says it in a few pages, but the foreshadowing of things going on, the world building is really nice. It's not confusing at all. I didn't have to reread anything to figure out what was going on, and he's got a pretty good voice. It's not his character isn't really that extreme, though. It's not like he doesn't have these grandiose world views and stuff. He just he's kind of a mellow dude who likes to hang out in cyberspace. I think he might be a little bit on the depressed side, though. So and then living in cyberspace or going into cyberspace, you can actually tell through the writing that he's happier in cyberspace than he is in the world, and that's pretty cool. And it really goes from there. And the cutaway scene, it's a little abrupt, excuse me, but you get the gist of what's going on, and all of the characters talk exactly like they should, and they got just the right amount of emotion, and it's not too extravagant and not too over the top. That's really the thing. The writing for this is not over the top, when it easily could have gone that way, and I really appreciate that it's not way over the top. It's nice. It's a nicely told, solid story, and I would really like to get the second part. As for the art is really good. It's not. It's good. It's really good. I really enjoy it. It's painted. Almost all of the Innovation books are painted with a cover by Ken Stacy, and Ken Stacy is a beautiful artist. It's got but this interiors has some nice watercolors and some nice ink work, and it's got a lot of airbrush too. So it's got a lot of multimedia stuff, and everything works really nicely. The panels are, when there's a lot of information packed into what you have to say, there's a lot of panels. When you just are kind of going with the flow, it's a little bit less panels. So, the variety in the amount of panels is really nice. I really like to see that. I personally like to see one dominant panel, which is the kind of the money shot for comic book pages. But that really is just a personal preference. I would never discount somebody's narrative art because of that, because it doesn't have to be. It's just my personal preference. Like the image guys like to do that. Have the one big panel where it kind of is the focus of the page, which what do you guys think? Do you guys like a money shot or a big panel to kind of show exactly what the page is all about, and then have the surrounding panels kind of serve the rest of the story, but serve the big panel? I kind of enjoy that. But everything's really nice in here. The blending, the character work, the proportions are really nice, and the perspective is really great. He's got really great backgrounds. When he doesn't need backgrounds, you've got this here, which is more emotional. If something's really highly emotional, then you don't really need the backgrounds, because you want colors to serve your the objective of what you're trying to do. But again, nice backgrounds, nice. Here's a really nice panel of a really emotional part of the scene where he kind of wakes up and he realizes that he got his ass kicked by these sentry or security people or whatever they are, mobsters, whatever they are. Here's some really nice color. All of the colors, it's very bright and yet disturbing at the same time, which is really cyberpunk. Really kind of should be. It should be bright and yet disturbing at the same time, because underneath all of that brightness, there's a seedy base to all of what's going on. Like I said before, I wish this whole page probably could have been done a little bit better to show that the airlift or whatever it is going to the top. I would have maybe done a small panel, bigger, just to kind of show it. But it's not horrible. And then like I said, everything reads really well. There's a few muddy places, this face here, and this face here in particular, but you're getting towards the end of the book, and you get comic book fatigue writing and drawing a comic book. Well, I don't know about writing, but definitely drawing a comic where halfway through you're just like, I want to get this thing over, and maybe your art suffers a little bit. A lot of artists have that happen to them. I do. I know. But doing that in a painterly comic, I can only imagine that it's double or even triple the amount of fatigue, because if you're doing line work, penciling and inking, that's one thing, but then you've got the whole other process of painting. I'm almost certain that these here, he may have gone almost straight to the painting and didn't do any line work, but that's just a guess. It is nice that he does a lot of line work, but then he also just does the painterly stuff. So he does have a lot of significantly really good panels and pages and stuff and figures. But there's just a couple of them suffer later on in the book. But then he's really good at these abstract almost kind of things in the cyberspace. It's not a lot of intricate work, and I think he probably had a little bit more fun here. It looks a little bit Bill Sienkiewicz. But let's go back to this page. There's one sequence, this here, where this the interlude woman, I don't know what her name is, Jung, that's her name. She is looking at this spherical thing, and she picks it up, and she throws it on the table or whatever. That is a beautiful, beautiful painting. I mean, everything in this really is beautiful, except for a few little quirky little things that I don't love. But overall, it's a gorgeous book, drawn, pencil, painted. It's really nice. I really enjoy it. So yeah, the art and the writing is really good, and I would definitely pick up the second one if I found it. Not even just in a dollar bin. If I saw this in like for $3 or $4 or $5 or whatever, I would definitely pick it up, and I'll probably look on eBay to see how much it is after I'm done with this. So, Cyberpunk #1 by Innovation Comics. Like I said, I really enjoy it. By Scott Rockwell and Daryl Banks for the most part. And I would give this a 9. Yeah. I hold painted comics to a higher standard, I think, and yet, which is really odd because it's probably the hardest of the mediums to get right. I mean, you're penciling and you're inking, and you've got a whole lot of exact knowledge of what you're doing, and when you paint it, that's a whole nother thing. I have liked this whole book done by Ken Stacy? Yes, I would have. But for what it is, I really love the guy's art, and I might even look up and see what he's done in the years after, and see if he's done anything really cool that I would like. But yeah, I'm giving this a 9, and if you guys are into Cyberpunk, especially, I would definitely recommend it. I'm a Cyberpunk. I like it. I don't love it. I definitely like. I didn't run out and buy the Cyberpunk video game, but I would definitely play it if I had it. If I bought it, used or whatever, I definitely consider checking it out. And there's a lot of cyberpunk stuff I really enjoy. I mean, Akira, is that cyberpunk? That might be considered cyberpunk, and that's my favorite manga of all time. So, anyway, Cyberpunk #1, Innovation Comics. Love Innovation. I'll always check out anything that Innovation ever produced. And if you guys like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And if you could really hit the like button on this video, that would really help the other viewers that haven't seen my content, and they might be into this kind of stuff too. I know you guys like to talk in the comments about the different books and stuff that I review, and I enjoy that too. I love talking about comics non-stop. So if you guys like this kind of content, please hit subscribe, and let me know what you guys think of this book, if you got it, and if you would pick it up. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.